Hello family, hope everybody is doing well. We want to talk to you again about why it is important to be part of a church, or why should you belong to a church. But more specifically, I want to address church hopping, going to and to between churches, being between churches, going to this church, be part of it, and then move to another church and be part of that. And then some people do that every year, some people every 3 months, some 6 months, some every few years, and so on. So but I want to address that, which is something very important. Now let's make this example of a tree. So when you take a branch of a tree, let's say a branch of an orange tree, you engraft it into an apple tree. The orange branch will always produce orange fruit. It's not going to change. So that nature of an orange tree, because that branch is taken from an orange, is not going to change. Now that's also one important factor. That means in just addressing that, it's whatever God has called you to be, whatever purpose that God has created you for, it's not going to change based on which church you go to. That is going to remain the same. Of course, if the church is not a spirit-filled church, you may not realize what God has called you to be. But we're not addressing that today. What I'm addressing is, let's say now, that orange branch that was engrafted into an apple tree produces fruit. And then when it begins to produce fruit, it's then cut off again and then engrafted into an orange tree, or an orange tree, or a tree for the pears, or whatever type of a tree is engrafted in. It's gonna continue to produce fruit. Then you cut it off again, you engraft it in another tree, and then again and again. And as you keep doing that, that tree, the branch you keep cutting off, the sensitivity or the sensitivity to connect to the next tree dies slow and slow and slow and slow. The next thing that's what's going to happen is you're going to engraft it into a very healthy tree, and then it's not going to produce any fruit. It's just going to die, because the stress that keeps going through through it, or the stress that it keeps going through when it's being taken off or cut off from a tree and then engrafted into another, then cut off and then engrafted into another, that stress eventually wears it out. So this is very true also for a Christian who goes from church to church, who doesn't belong to a single church. And if that's what you do, every 6 months you're part of another church, then after that you're part of another church. The process of changing churches, or of ending your membership from one church to another, it is very painful. Not only on the church you live, or the people you know, or the people who knows you, but on you, it hurts. And going to another church, that's the process. So I'm encouraging you, find a church. Once you find a church and you say, okay, this is the church I belong to, this is my church, make sure that you pray that your heart is right, and then after that you focus on God. Leave everything, don't be part of politics and so on. Once you are part of a church, be part of that church, be sold out for that church. Having said that, I'm inviting you tomorrow at Encounter Cape Town. We do have churches or campuses in Somerset West and in 𝒏𝒄𝒏, and also in Worcester. So I'm inviting you. If you are far from Cape Town or from Durbanville, you are closer to Worcester, then you can attend there. If you are closer to Somerset West or to 𝒏𝒄𝒏, you can attend there. But I'm inviting you. Come tomorrow at 9. Service starts at 9. That's the morning service in all branches, and then the evening service starts at 5 p.m. Don't be late, be there. And also, most importantly, the evening service at Cape Town, it's going to be a healing, deliverance. It's going to be a miracle service. So if you have got somebody who's sick, or you are sick in your body, I want to see you there. Make sure you don't miss it. There will be prophecy, there will be deliverance. If you have a need from God, I want to see you at church tomorrow. Let's meet there. Be blessed. Amen.